I'm Evander, and in this video I'm going to be talking about ROI in relation to property, more specifically buy-to-lets. So why do we need to know ROI? What is it? Why do we need to know it? ROI. Well, you need to know it because you need to know whatever money you're putting into it, what's the return on that money? How long is it going to take you to get what you've put in back out? Because if you're buying a property for 100,000, I'm guessing you want to know how long it's going to take for you to get that 100,000 back out of the property, just with the cash flow that you're getting off it every month. And that's important. You need to take that into account before buying it. Obviously, you need to do your numbers and work out what it's going to cost you to get the property, your initial investment, they call it, and then you need to work out what your return on that investment is going to be. Now, working out your ROI, things you need to consider in regards to property. We'll do buy-to-let. Buy-to-let's nice and simple. Buy-to-let. You need to take into account expenses. What is it going to cost you every month? After you've got your initial cost of what it's going to cost you to set up the property, to get the property going, and to buy it, what are your monthly expenses going to be on that property? What is it going to cost you each month just to keep the property? So let's say your initial investment is 30,000. So initial investment, 30k. Initial investment. Hope you can read that, because I just about can. So 30k initial investment. Initial investment is stuff like stamp duty. Yeah, stamp duty on buying the property. If you're not buying it as your first property, which I'm guessing you're not because you're buying buy-to-let, so your stamp duty, legal fees, so solicitor fees, that it's cost for you to get it. You might have to get a survey done on it. Well, you're going to get a survey done on it. You might need to do a light refurb on it. Lick of paint, new carpet, maybe some new glazing units in the windows, a couple of new internal doors. You might even have to change the boiler and stuff like that. So that'll all come under your initial investment. So any money that it's cost you to get that property up and running, from buying it from the estate agent to getting it let, that's your initial investment. Now, once you've got your initial investment, you know what you need to work out the return on, which is that. Now, working out your return, you need to take into account your expenses, so things you're going to be paying for every month, just owning the property, which is things like the mortgage. You're going to have to pay your mortgage. I know we don't like it, but we all, otherwise they'll take the house. So we have to pay the mortgage. If you've got a letting agent managing it, you're going to have to pay letting agent fees, which is usually about, well, it all depends, Some charge a percentage, Some charge you just a flat rate each month. It just depends who you go with. But you're going to have to pay that if you're going through them to let it out and for them to manage it. You're going to have to pay... so you're going to have to set aside as well a maintenance pot. A bit of money each month that you set aside that you take off the rent in case repairs. You're going to have to do repairs on the property. You're going to have to take that into account. Well, you should. I mean, not all landlords do, but you should be setting aside money every month for maintenance on the property. So they're generally your expenses. If you're in a flat, if you're renting out a flat, a leasehold flat, then you might have to pay service charge. You might have to pay ground rent. Well, you will. If you're in a leasehold flat, you're going to be paying service charge and you're going to be paying ground rent. So before buying the property, you need to be taking that into account. Some service charges are quite reasonable, and some are just, I think we can all agree, some service charges are just taking the piss, aren't they? So, take that into account, your expenses each, for the year, and then obviously divide that by the month. So what I would do is work out your expenses for 1 month. What it's going to cost you for 1 month to run the property, operate the property. That's with mortgage fees. That's with setting aside a maintenance pot. That's with paying for anything else you need to pay for on that property each month. Then what you do, once you've got 1 month worked out for your expenses, you just times that by 12. Yeah, so then you know what your expenses are going to be annually. Yeah, let's say you're charging £1,000 rent, okay, and let's say each month your expenses are £850. Yeah, each month you're left with £150 profit. Yeah, so that's your return for 1 month. And then what you do, times that by 12, so 150 times 12 is £1,800. Okay, so then you've got your return on investment, which is £1,800 annually. Yeah, that's your profit. Yeah, that's your profit. £1,800 profit per year, per 12 months. Okay. So your total gain is 1,800 profit. So you've got your initial investment, which is 30k. Okay. Then you've got 1,800 profit. That's annually. Now you can work out your return as a percentage. You can work out what your return is going to be on 30,000. And how you do that is you take your profit, 1,800, you divide that by your initial investment, which is 30,000. 30,000. And that'll give you a number, which was 0.06. You then take 0.06 and you times that by 100. Times 100 equals 6%. That's your ROI. That's your return on 30,000. So per year on 30,000, if you was making £1,800 profit per year, yeah, because you've worked out your expenses and all that, you know, you've worked out what it's going to cost you each month and what's left over. You know, each year you're going to be getting £1,800. Yeah, which is 6% return annually. Right. Now, once you've got your percentage return for the year done, now you know how long is it going to take you to get that initial investment out completely. How long is it going to be until that 30k has completely come back to you in your account? You know, profit after you're getting profit every month, after every year. How long is it going to take you? Well, 10 years would be 60%. And 100% return. When that gets to 100%, you've then got the 30,000 out in profit. You might not have 30k in your bank, but you've got the 30,000 back out the property. I think you're looking at like 17, 18 years, something like that, for 100% return on that, which to some people, some people might be very happy with that. That might be good enough for some people. You might be buying buy to let just a store of value, something that you can put your money into. You're going to get a little bit of a return each year. You're going to get the capital appreciation, because properties, generally double every 10 years. They have done since the Doomsday Book, which was, I think it was 1066, that book was made. Well, every 10 years, on average, properties have doubled. So you might be investing in it for that reason. So you might not really care too much about 6% return. As long as it's not costing you any money to keep the property, you might be happy. So, but you've got your return. Now, return on investment, percentage-wise, and a number that you're happy with, really is down to you. Every person's situation is different. Bob down the road, he might want 5%. Jessica up the road, she might want 20%, and me, I want 100%. But you get the idea. It's all relative. Return on investment's all relative. But yeah, I hope after watching this you've got like a basic understanding. If you're new to property, or you're thinking about buying property, you're interested in buying buy-to-lets, whatever it is, and you're struggling on how to work out the return on investment, hopefully this has helped you. Hopefully you've took something from the video. Maybe you haven't took anything. Maybe you've had a laugh. Maybe you've just thought, look at this twat. And you've just laughed all the way through the video. I don't know. But yeah, hopefully you've got some sort of idea of how to work out ROI. If you've got any questions or you want to reach out or anything, I'll leave my socials in the description. I'll leave my Insta pages in the description. I am actively involved in property. I'm doing deal sourcing. So if you're interested in buy-to-lets, or you've just got any questions, feel free to reach out. Leave a like, leave a dislike, leave a comment, subscribe if you want. It's the first video. I'm going to be making a few of these videos and just sharing the knowledge that I do have. Thanks for watching. And hopefully you come back to see the next video.